to my friend. This is my friend Candace.
Hi, nice to meet you.
That's totally happy thing to go.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you too. I have to hurry to the bathroom.
She
and
got
back.
us.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Yes.
My name is Lynn Hickson. I'm Vice President of the Board here at Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. On behalf of the Board and the Program Council, it is my honor to welcome you here this morning. Whether you are in the building or watching online, you are welcome here. Can we wish our friends online a good morning? Good morning. Whoever you are, wherever you are from, and wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome here. All of who you are is sacred, and all of who you are is welcome. If you would like more information on our church, please fill out the visitor card in the pocket in front of you, or visit our website, tvuuc.org, and select Stay in Touch. If you're visiting with small children, we invite you to sit up front, where it's easier for them to see what's going on. Please don't feel you must keep them still. All are welcome here, wiggles, giggles, and all. If you do need to step out with your child for just a moment, the E.E. Cummings room is this glass enclosed room in the back corner here, where you can still see and hear the service. It's there for your family's comfort, but do not feel obligated to use it. We understand that silence is never completely silent. If you are interested in classes for your children here at Tennessee Valley, please visit our religious exploration table in the art gallery area of the lobby. Gregorio is staffing the table today to answer all of your questions, and more information can also be found on our website. We have a few announcements this morning. Family Promise will be hosting 3 families Sunday, November 10th through Sunday, November 17th. We need volunteers for all roles, especially meal prep and overnight hosts. You can sign up at the table that's in the art gallery that you just passed by, or on the website by selecting Get Involved and Family Promise Sign Up. Again, that's tvuuc.org, Get Involved, Family Promise Sign Up. There is a climate justice program today in room A from 12:30 to 2. Please join us as we explore practices and ideas from a new University of California course, Climate Resilience, to help shift our anxiety toward actively working on solutions. Pizza will be provided for those attending. There is a question session today in the Lizzie Crozier-French room at 12:30. This meeting is for visitors who have questions about our church, Unitarian Universalism, and the path to membership. It's also open to church members who would like to deepen their connection to the church. Light snacks will be provided. And if you're ready to take the first step to become a member of the church, there is a starting point class being offered on Zoom tomorrow evening from 7 until 9. You need to register in advance for that, though. There is a link in the newsletter, or you can email Mark Mahundro at tvuuc.net. These announcements and others can be found on page 3 of your order of service. And now we have an endowment testimony by Jenna Mashburn.
Good morning. It is fitting. Oh, ta-da! Is that better? It's fitting that we are approaching All Saints' Day. And also, we are ending a month-long celebration of our endowment fund. And it really is true that the numbers of TVUUC saints who've gone before us have left bequests to the church endowment fund. And as a result, they have assured our long-term financial security, but the interest to for that fund also has provided a number of wonderful programs. Bob and I are happy to have included the church in our wills, and we also try to make regular contributions to the endowment fund, mainly through church memorials, people who have died or people who are celebrating something. It's a wonderful way to help the church, but also to acknowledge that person. So I hope you will join me, I hope not anytime soon, in becoming one of those Union of the Saints, but include the church endowment fund in your wills, and also remember to make those contributions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. There was a little height difference there. Today is a generosity Sunday, so what that means is that 100% of everything given today goes into the general operating fund, as long as it's not marked as a pledge. There are multiple ways to give. It's on page 2 of your order of service. There's a little QR code. You can text. There are baskets that will be passed. If you're watching online, there will be a button that pops up that says Give or Give Now. You can click that. And remember that everything you give today goes back into our wonderful church. After the conclusion of today's service, please join us for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall. If you're visiting and would like a tour of the building or have any questions about our church, just look for me and I'll be glad to show you around or chat with you for a while and answer any questions. And there's also that questions class afterwards too. Before we begin the service, I would like to acknowledge that yesterday, October 26th, was Intersex Awareness Day with this blessing by Jude Sylvan. It's on the UUA website. May you know your body as home, each curve, each angle, each organ, each chromosome. Know that no one can tell you who you are. No doctors, no paperwork, no state-issued identification. Their limited constructs are not you. The universe has made you perfectly. If your wholeness challenges others, let them grow and evolve to receive your truth. Your body is its own wisdom, whole and holy, blessed and beautiful. Blessed be. And now, if you have not already done so, please silence any electronic devices as we enter into worship together.
Of it all, I am light.
Good morning. I invite everyone to come into the circle of community. Come into this sacred space. Be not tentative, bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness, your compassion. Bring also your sorrow and your pain. Bring your brokenness and disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together.
Together in our opening hymn, 118 in the gray hymnal, This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This little light of mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Once upon a time, there were 4 women who loved to go paddling down rivers together. I'll let y'all look at that picture. And before we do any more with the story, I need you to practice being water. So, these 4 women loved to paddle down rivers together. And one day at the beginning of the week, they said, "Where shall we go this weekend?" And one of them that said, "I really want to paddle down the Brahmani River." And the other said, no, that's not exactly what we want to do. One said, "I'd like to paddle down the river Ganges," said another. And they're like, "I don't know if that's what I want to do." And another said, "I want to paddle down the river Krishna." Another said, "No, I don't think that's what we want to do." And somebody suggested, "Well, why don't we paddle down the river Padma?" And they got into a big argument about which was the right river they should paddle down that week. And they got so angry at each other, they decided they would each paddle down a different river. And so when the day came, each one of them traveled a long way to get to the source of the river they had chosen and pushed their canoes into the water. And as the canoe went into the water, the first river was very smooth. And the third river was rocky, so they had to sort of navigate in between the rocks. And the fourth river was very smooth sometimes, and very wavy other times. So each navigated down their own chosen river. But you know what? All the rivers led to the ocean. And so the four friends found themselves reunited together, bobbing on the waves of the ocean. That's the way it is so often. At the end of many arguments, at the end of many disagreements, at the end of much anger, we might find that we're all taking different ways to the same place. And that's our story for today. Now we'll sing our kids to their classroom. Our joys and concerns. We're having a change of instruments. Our thoughts, prayers, and love are with Bill Pierce, who has traveled to be with his family in New York upon learning of the death of his mother. And with Tony Powell, who is grateful for all the cards, phone calls, and visits she has received in the aftermath of the death of her husband, Marco. And with Crystal Bradshaw, who is recovering from hand surgery. We feel a special joy with Jametta Austin, who just completed her full-time interim ministry with the Amicable Congregational Church in Tiverton, Rhode Island. And with Dennis Hunter, his wife Susie tells us that he has moved from UT Hospital to rehab, Well Park on Middlebrook, and is grateful for all the calls and letters. For these and other joys and concerns, spoken and unspoken, let us send our light out into the world. Sending you high to you, to hold you. We are sending you high to hold you in love. We are sending you high to heal you, to hold you. We are sending you high to hold you in love.
I'm going to do a reading from the Upanishad, or in American, Upanishad. There is a light that shines beyond all things on earth, beyond us all, beyond the heavens, beyond the highest, the very highest heavens. This is the light that shines in the human heart. The breath of life is one. When we speak, life speaks. When we see, life sees. When we hear, life hears. And when we breathe, life breathes. As fire, though one, takes many forms in all things that burn, the Spirit, though one, takes new forms in all things that live. The Spirit is within us all and also outside. As the wind, though one, takes new forms in whatever it enters, the Spirit, though one, takes new forms in all things that live. The Spirit is within us all and is outside. What you see when you look into another person's eyes, that is Atman, the immortal. That is Brahma. There is light that shines beyond all things on earth, beyond us all, beyond the heavens, beyond the highest, the very highest heavens. This is the light that shines in the human heart.
We're about to sing an Indian song together. We put together this service with Amit and Bhavna, Vora, who were called out of town on short notice, but I've just learned they've sent lots of Indian food for us to enjoy after the service. So if you like Indian food, stay after the service for some good Indian food, and now we will sing together hymn 178, an Indian song.
And this song is a call and response. So you can let me sing the 8 measures at a time, and then you repeat those 8 measures. So you get to hear the text before you have to try it. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Now you. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Sitaram Jai Sitaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Now you. Sitaram Jai Sitaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Back to the beginning. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Iswara Teranam Sabakotan Motida Bhagwan. Iswara Teranam Sabakosan Motida Bhagwan. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Sitaram Jai Sitaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Sitaram Jai Sitaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavan Sitaram.
meditation. It's a blending of East and West and Christian scriptures and Hindu scriptures. And your part is to say, sing the one. In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by God. And without God, nothing was made. In God was life, and this life was the light of all life. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. In the beginning was the Word. Let's have a moment of silent meditation together. Let's end with that word. I invite you to give generously to the continuing work of our church.
Oma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Daya Karna Bhakti Ka Hame Paramatma Dina Daya Karna Nariya Dhamma Me Shadana Dina Anare Jnan Me Ao Prabhu Agon Me Vasiao Andere Dil Me Akereke Param Jogya Gagadina Saviryam Karewa Tejasvina Vachitamastu Mavirishavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
It may seem odd to begin a sermon on the occasion of the Hindu Festival of Lights, Diwali, with a story about a preacher from East Tennessee, but here we go. There once was a preacher who had a deacon who was very judgmental, hypercritical. And so the minister decided he would write a sermon just for that deacon. And he got up in the pulpit and he was preaching the sermon to everybody, but he was focusing his energy on that deacon. And he would try to make eye contact with that deacon, and he was hoping the message would get through to that particular person. But after the service, the deacon came up and shook his hand and said, "You really told them." So a year later, he tried again. He was still having the same problem, and so he tried to preach that same sermon, "Judge not, lest ye be judged," and work on that. And he tried a lighter approach, but he was focusing right on that deacon. He was preaching to one person, even though all the congregation was there. But once again, the message missed the mark, because after the service, the deacon came up and shook his hand and said, "You really told them again." And then one day, years later, it snowed, and everyone was snowed in except for two people who showed up for church. And it was that preacher and that deacon. And the preacher thought, "Oh, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to really drive that message home." So he preached that sermon, and he gave it all he had, and he kept eye contact with that deacon throughout, and he was really giving it all he got. But after the service, the deacon came up, shook his hand, and said, "You really told them. Too bad none of them were here to hear it." So today I want to preach about our human tendency to be judgmental, to be hypercritical. And I just want to be clear, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about us. Because it's a very human tendency. Fortunately, there are some spiritual teachings that can help leaven us, help loosen us up, help us overcome this tendency to rush to judgment. In the 19th century, the Unitarians often spoke of a divine spark within every person. And this idea is very similar to the Hindu idea of the Atman. There is something bigger than us that is present inside of us. There is a light that shines all around us, and that light is within us. And the word that brings those two things together, the thing that is bigger than us and the thing that is within us, is the word we said earlier. Om. Say it with me. Om. Our challenge is to look for that light within every person, even though they may be hiding it under a bushel. Now, Marianne Williamson described the light within using these words, and this quote is a little longer than some, but it's worth it, so stay with me. She wrote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just some of us, it's every one. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. The light has a liberating quality. So Marianne Williamson suggests it's hard for us to see the light inside of ourselves, so it must be even more difficult to see the light in others. I studied for the ministry at a Quaker school, the Earlham School of Religion, and I sometimes describe my experience there in a couple of different ways. One way is to say, you can get all the Quakers on the planet Earth to agree with this statement. And this statement is, there is that of God in every person. But you can't get all Quakers to agree on exactly what that is. So there's still some disagreement. Also summarize my experience by saying, there is that of God in every person, although it might not be readily apparent. You might not see it right off. And so what is that? And why is it not readily apparent? Now, one of my favorite Hindu teachings is that greeting, Namaste. The God in me sees and honors the God in you. And this is a greeting that we might give to a complete stranger, someone we've never met. And that means it is a real act of faith, a real act of hope. It is something that we have to take a risk in order to say. Now, when we were planning this service with Amit and Bhavna, Vora, and Nathan Packey, we talked about illuminating this sanctuary with lots of candles or the electronic equivalent. And then we decided, and this came from Bhavna, she said, let's reduce our carbon footprint. And let's have everyone focus on that light within. That light within every one of us. Now, this idea that there is a divine spark in every person has practical value. Paul Woodruff is one of my favorite philosophers. He's written one of my favorite books of philosophy called Reverence. And this is a teaching, you can believe in God or you cannot believe in God, it doesn't matter. But he says we all need to practice reverence. That if you want people to live together in peace, you do not hope that they will all have the same religion, because people with the same religion kill each other all the time. So what you want to do is cultivate reverence in every person of every faith and say there is something worthy of reverence in every single person we meet. Something worthy of reverence in the stranger, something worthy of reverence for the person who may annoy us. Parker Palmer used to say, community is the place where the one person you don't think should be there is. So for that one person that we don't think should be there, learning to practice reverence toward that person. Last week, Will Skelton and Amy Neff invited me to the Legacy Park Foundation lunch, and they had a very inspirational speaker named Eric Weihenmeyer. And he is without sight. He lost his sight when he was a young person, although he is the first blind person to ever climb Mount Everest. And since that time, he's climbed the 8 summits. That's the name for the 8 highest points on 7 continents. And he has kayaked all 277 miles of the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon. And he's founded an organization called No Barriers to help others kind of overcome challenges, whatever they might be. And one of the things he said at that gathering is, that which is within you is greater than that which is in your way. That which is within you is greater than that which is in your way. And this is what Hindus call the Atman, that which is within you. Although it's known by many different names, we have many different images of the divine in the Hindu tradition, and we have some statuary up there, but also no image is appropriate, and no picture, and no name for that which is within us. Now, Swami Vivekananda is probably the most famous person that a lot of people have never heard of. And he's rightly remembered as someone responsible for introducing Hinduism to America in a big way when he appeared at the Parliament of Religions in 1893, a gathering of leaders of every faith. It had kind of the desired effect of the organizers was to kind of subtly and gently prove that Christianity was superior to every other religion. That was kind of, if you read their letters, that really was the goal. But the effect was people learned there was wisdom in all the great world religions. And he was so well received, he was invited to go on a speaking tour of America. So I always say Vivekananda is most responsible for the fact that you can find a yoga class in every town, in every city in this country. Doesn't matter how small. There's a great documentary about him on PBS. If you got that free streaming channel, it's on there. And there's a great biography of him by Ruth Harris. And he talked about practical religion. He called it practical Vedanta. And he said if you go into a temple and you see one of these images, if you see Durga or Lakshmi or Krishna, and if you can sense the divine within that image, well, you're off to a good start. But more importantly, is to see the divinity within everyone you meet, to see the light that shines in every single person. And that person might be someone who comes up and needs your help. He said the first God we should worship is the person in front of us, the person who might need our assistance. Now I'm going to tell a story that may seem like a little bit of a detour, which I often do, but it'll get to the point. I once got a very long, angry email from a congregant who was angry because he perceived that the forums we were offering at the church had moved from a secular direction to a more spiritual direction. And he sent me this long, angry email, but it contained these sentences that were offered without any hint of irony. He wrote, "This church has a tradition of offering secular forums on secular topics in a secular manner. Why change now? Is nothing sacred?" And the reason I tell that story is because when you volunteer for the church, you volunteer to do something like stock the free food pantry. I got up very early in the morning to come to church. It was still dark, and there was somebody there looking for food in our free food pantry. When you carry that food out to the pantry, you may think you're doing something secular. But Vedanta would tell you you're actually doing something sacred. And when you volunteer for Family Promise to help turn this church into a place where people who otherwise would be homeless have shelter for a night and their family can stay together warm and safe, you may feel like you're doing something secular. And yet, this spiritual tradition would invite us to realize that we're actually doing something sacred. When you deliver groceries for fish or prepare a meal for volunteer ministry center or do any volunteer role at all, you may think that you're doing something secular. But the invitation of this spiritual tradition is to see the sacred in the secular. when we vote, we are doing something sacred. Susan B. Anthony said, pray with your votes. Pray with your votes. Know that when you cast a ballot for the world you want to see, you're doing something sacred. And this has been a very polarizing election season. And there's been lies and deception, name-calling and vilification, and violence. And here's what's hard to believe. The Hindu sages say that underneath all that division, underneath all that polarization, underneath all that anger, there is oneness. There is unity. And we catch glimpses of it. I caught glimpses of it watching people set aside their political differences to deliver supplies to people in need affected by the hurricane, communities destroyed. Nobody asked anybody what political party they belonged to. Nobody asked what religion. Nobody asked any of those questions. And you just get a little glimpse of the unity that underlies all our very real differences. So I invite you to vote with that sense of unity deep down in your soul. For as the Chinese proverb says, it is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. So go to the polls and light a candle. So I began by talking about a preacher from East Tennessee. And he was trying to reach that deacon who was very judgmental. But we're all judgmental. We're all that deacon. We can all play that role. And so I think it's an opportunity to engage in a chant that is led by Bono of U2. If you know anything about U2, you know that they're work hard for human rights causes through Amnesty International, or for debt relief to developing countries, or anti-hunger through Live Aid and Live 8. But there's this chant that Bono leads audiences in, and we'll have one half do one part and the other half do the other. Your part is, there is no them. There is no them. Your part, there is only us. There is only us. There is no them. There is only us. There is no them. There is only us. There is no them. There is only us. That's my closing thought. There is no them. There is only us. There is only you and me and everything that is sacred. So be it. I invite you to join in our closing hymn. You can stand in body or spirit, for morning has come, and get ready for some good Indian food. It's in the teal hymn.
May
Prophetic Church, the world awaits your liberating ministry. Go forward in the power of love. Proclaim the truth that makes us free.
That's it.